Hello, hello. It's that time again for our daily show, Awakening Your Spiritual Gifts. So happy to be here. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for coming to the webinar last night. We had a lot of people register. We had a good turnout live on the webinar. And it was just such a joy to be able to discuss and talk about all of the challenges of an awakening. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody who was there on the webinar. And I hope that it helped you and I hope that it served you in wherever you are in the awakening process. It's so much more fun to go through these things when you know that you're not alone, right? So definitely good to have. All right. Well, we've got a couple things here. We're going to do some of the questions. Actually, so go ahead and start. You can totally start putting your comments, your questions, what you'd like looked at below. Go ahead and comment. I'm just going to pull up here this little, my computer. I've been on some wonky computer things lately. Kind of weird. But anyway, I just wanted to pull up these questions here. So for the anonymous. Okay, so let's get started with the daily energy read. First and foremost, we had actually big shout out. Do a big shout out to everyone that helped me with some of the scroll insights from yesterday's daily energetic read. So in the comment thread, we had people just like finding scriptures and giving insights on scrolls. But I also got some private messages after, and it was really enlightening. There was one specifically that was talking about like the scroll like being rolled out, and that was kind of what the symbolism of what I saw was. And so it was really kind of fun to hear that, and especially liken it to for me, I am definitely a believer in Jesus Christ. I do believe that we are in the days preparing for that we're building up his kingdom to prepare for his return. And so there were a lot of insights that were really awesome for me to read about that and the symbolism there. So kind of a fun thing to see. All right, well, let's get to the daily energetic read. And let's see here. I have not looked at it before right now, so we're on the current moment. Okay, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, let's look at you here. And please, you can totally comment while I'm looking at this. Okay, so okay, this is kind of interesting. Again, I'm like really curious to see if this is symbolic or brings anything up for you guys. So I'm kind of seeing some of that residual energy that I saw yesterday with, which is even still a continuation of like last week, seeing some of the storm, and then we saw the pillars, and then we saw these scrolls like with messages being unraveled and being taught to people. Like all of this is part of the collective, right? And what we're receiving. And today I'm seeing, it's like I'm seeing the heavens and the clouds, and I'm like seeing tears. So it's like the heavens, I want to say that they're weeping, like the angels or whatever are weeping for whatever is going on the earth, or for what there's something that they're crying about and they're weeping about. It doesn't feel I mean, it has some specificity, but it also just has a generality to it. So there's like a few specific strands, but it's almost like an overall, like I'm just weeping with the people of earth for the heaviness, for lack of a better word, for the sins that the weight of the sins that have been upon the earth, and this could be anything from human cruelty. Heck, we've even been seeing some acts of violence and stuff lately. So it just feels like it's sad with us for the heaviness, for the violence, for the not liking each other, for the anger, for broken trust, for broken relationships, for the crying out and the prayers and the coming, like people just seeking help and asking for ooh, that's a lot of emotion in that one. There are a lot of people that have been lifting up their voices in great pain, asking for some relief. And so I'm seeing the prayers going up and the heart energy going up. It is a lot. So I can definitely see why there's some weeping going on in the heavens. Oh, that feels heavy. Let's breathe. So then I also just like to check, like, then what can we do with this information? Like, what's kind of a next step, and how can we practically apply what we just received with this? And I'm getting actually just to reach out to others. I have that scripture flashing in my mind of like, mourn with those that mourn, comfort those that stand in need of comfort. So it definitely feels like something like, if there's some kind of pain, like look around, who else could you serve? Who could you connect to? Who could you lift? Who could you love? That's a beautiful one. Like, who can you love today? And this is kind of an interesting phrase that just popped in my head is, who can you love that is possibly unlovable? Right? It's easy to love the people that are super easy to love and that you get along with and stuff. But is there someone that is unlovable to you, or causing harm or pain, or just a difficult personality, or are they doing something like, and this could be an immediate circle, or even just, like, so a public figure or government official, or if there's someone that you're deeming unlovable, can we love them more today? Wow, that's a powerful message right there. So, okay. Okay, and we are going to, I'm going to answer an anonymous one here. Let's see here. We're getting quite a few anonymous, so I'm going to have to really do a few of these sometime. Okay, so actually, no, this is just an email one. That's not pulling up for me. Okay, well, we'll just do this one here. So, okay, I'm trying to learn and trust my intuition, and I'd love to know what spiritual gift I may have. So this is an anonymous one. And we're going to look at this. So, okay, so for you, I'm seeing some gifts in your eyes and attached to your heart. I see that you have some beautiful gifts in relating to being able to know how to serve people. Like you're able to see what it is, like how they're hurting, what needs they may have, how to make their day better, their life better. It just is like this. Reminds me that the old Robots movie where they say, see a need, fill a need. And that kind of, it feels true for some of your gifts here and your intuition. It feels just like it's this gift to see a need and then fill a need and know how to fill that need. And then I'm also seeing that you've got some connections with, you've got some really strong, like a spiritual sense. Actually, this is just like you've got a really good connection here through your crown and through the inspiration that you receive here. And it's almost like this little spiritual relationship that you're having. You have that spiritual connection, and it's almost like a little treasured gift, but maybe you don't tell people about it. Like it's like, oh, I know I have this, and I know I can like pray, or I know I can just lean into this divine connection, and it comes into probably is in form of some clear knowing or that clear cognizant where it pops down into your head because it's so strong. Like it's just this connection, super duper strong. And but I'm also seeing that it's almost like you're treasuring it and you know that you have it, but that it's been so it just has been a little bit more quiet, like you're not flashing it to other people. And so I just want to remind you that it feels like it could expand, but you have to be more confident with it. Don't just try to like hide it away and go, oh yeah, I know I've got this talent, I'm going to bury it. So because it's kind of like my little precious, that it's actually meant to expand. And the only way that you can expand that is to be confident and to be willing to share it. So, okay. I hope, let us know how that resonates. Okay, we're going to get on. Let me go to the questions for today. Right. Let's go over here to the comments. All right, let's go to Amy. I would love a general reading. Yes, let's see what comes up for you. Welcome. So glad you're here. Okay, Amy, let's see. So general reading, what energies just come up for you first? Okay, the first thing I'm seeing is that something is occupying a lot of your focus. So, well, I'm going to move that down. Then you can see my face. But I see just you're focusing quite a bit on something, or something is just taking you into like this place of just like like even if you want to think about other things, like there's something over here that is just taking up a lot of your mental and physical like focus. It seems like maybe there's something that there's a little bit of hurt attached to this focus, and it's something that you'd like worked on and improved. Like honestly, this could be like a relationship or something even for yourself. Actually more than one thing. It's just things that are hurting you. Something too about maybe your fitness, like your health goals. So health could also be part of that, but it's just occupying a lot of the focus here. And in fact, because the focus is so great there, I see maybe some possible solutions or ideas that are around you, but because it's so much focus on the problem itself, that you might be missing some of the answers to the problem that you're actually wanting to have solved. So I would recommend doing something there where you could take your eyes off of the problem and instead start looking toward solutions and possibilities and believing that things are possible. Like just even the miracles can be made. And, you know, for me, like I'm even just thinking there's a wonderful visual that I have of just when Peter walked on water, when he went out to, so like the Savior was out on the ocean and Peter was walking out to him, and you know, Jesus was like, come to me, come walk to me. And as long as Peter kept his eyes on Christ, he was walking on the water. But the moment that he took his eyes off of Christ and he put it down onto the water, then he started to get afraid and started to doubt, and then he started to sink. And then he started calling out like, Lord, save me, save me. And then, you know, Jesus came over and just reached his hand out and pulled him out. And he said, oh, ye of little faith, like, why did you doubt? And so it feels something like there's something like a lesson or something there that you could do of like, take your eyes off the problem and start looking for the solutions and looking for the miracles. And in fact, even activate your creation side of it. Like, what would be the ideal situation? And let yourself imagine what it would be like, and how would it feel, and how amazing it would be. Like, start creating, like you're a very creative being. And then also too, I feel like some things with your heart, and even like your creation center, which is kind of like your reproductive, like sexual organs. So I'm seeing some energy there. So I would definitely just encourage you to start looking at that. And then also see, you've got some creation energy that is stuck inside of you, which like, I'm curious how you create. Like I mean, like, yes, that part of the body can also be some of the other things, but I'm actually seeing that maybe you have some creations that you've been maybe not thinking that you're good enough at, or that no one will want you what you have to create, but it's like it's got to come out of you. Like, so I would recommend tapping into that creation a bit more. So awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, and then let's go to the next one here. Why is my computer so freezing lately? So annoying. So annoying. Okay.
We are live.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to
That's not what I'm trying to do.
Spiritual Gifts Show.
That is annoying. Y'all, this is so funny. I'm human and flawed. Getting it live. Okay. All right, Angie, let's go to you. What do you see is hindering me from reaching my health and fitness goals? Okay, Angie, let's look at this. Health and fitness goals. Let's see the energy here between you and those goals. I definitely, there's some beliefs there that I kind of see holding back. It's like I see it just right here available to you. And I see some of the thought kind of energy coming back and then looping back around, like it's a boomerang coming back. And so it kind of leads me to think that there's something about maybe not believing that you're actually capable of doing it. Like, oh, that seems so hard. I don't think I can do it. Like that seems like a lot of work, or well, I can't do it like other people, so I'm just going to not do it. Like there's something about that, like some beliefs that just like as you start to go out, it's pulling you back in and making you doubt your abilities and think that you cannot do it. So that's that is one of the first things. Also too, I'm seeing it connected to there's some past energy that is holding on to. That's kind of what's pulling it back. And the past energy is like past evidence. So maybe it didn't work before. And so you're like, see, I'm going to do this, but it's not going to work because it didn't work for me before. Right. You see how that past energy comes in, or any kind of past failure, perceived failure. I don't believe in like any failure is bad, but any perceived failure could be holding that back or pulling it back. And so I would, just because something happened before, just because your brain is trying to show you evidence of something before, doesn't mean that's true for the future. And it doesn't mean that it has to be for this current moment. I also just feel like I just want to really remind you of the power of choice and the power of the current moment. Like maybe you didn't do something before, maybe you've not experienced something before, but that doesn't mean you cannot choose it right now. And what does that look like? Sometimes choosing it means choosing it when it's hard, or choosing it when all evidence points. Evidence could point totally with opposite outcomes, but you can still choose. You could choose to believe, you could choose to take action. Also, I'm also gathering too, is to be okay with the process. It's kind of like I see holding on to the end result going, oh, I want that. But then it might take a while to get that, whatever it is that is in your mind. And it could be like, just remember it's a journey, not a destination. And so to release from that end result, like this is what I want and I want it as soon as possible. It's like, no, let's just have it be a journey. And one day you might go, and if you focus on the journey, then you might actually go, oh, look, I've already achieved that end result I really wanted, but I'm not even focused on that because it's a journey and I'm going to keep going. So if you can kind of think of it that way, then you have a lot more patience and grace. I'm speaking from experience on this. Like you can be a little bit more gentle with yourself when you're flawed, or when you go and you work out and you're like, that was a pathetic workout. Like that was a really pathetic, whatever effort, but I was there and I showed up and I did as much as I had for that given day. And at least I showed up, so it can help you with those kinds of days. So let me know how that resonates. I love to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments. Okay, let's go to. Okay, Natalie, let's do a general read. I love your smiling face. Like seriously, like your profile picture is like one of my favorites to look at because you just make me happy. Just so you know, I love your smile. Okay, so let's go to, let's look at your general read, Natalie. some good things that are going on in your energy. There's different things going on in your energy too, like conflicting things. So I see like a lot of like in your heart, and I see like some really great progress and things that you're doing. And then it's like maybe just like this little shell on the outside of maybe it's something that you're bumping into. And it reminds me of when you're going through a shift and changing things where two contrary beliefs or situations are occupying the same space. Now, let me give you an example of this. So let's say, and this is an example for like all of us to understand. So let's say you have some negative beliefs in your mind, okay? And you're like, you know what? I'm going to shift some of these beliefs, and I'm going to start thinking and believing some positive beliefs. And I'm going to believe that good things are there and available to me. Okay, well, when you start putting the new positive ones in, you still have some of the negative ones in, and it's got to go through your conscious mind and kind of go through the filter there of your mind and sink into the subconscious. There's times where you have both positive and negative ones, both occupying the same space. And it's like, whoa, what's true? What's true? So I kind of see some of that going on for you. And then, so this is just kind of a reminder too, like keep doing what you're doing. When you keep feeding that positive and you take action, and that's, I think, one of the keys with some of the little block. It wasn't really a block. I don't want to say it's a block. It's like a little thin, almost feels like a flimsy paper kind of thing in front of you, but it feels like in your mind, you're like, oh, something's right here. I got to get through. But it's like, it's going to be easier to go through than you realize. But as you keep taking action steps according to that new positive belief, then it will sink it in farther. And of course, repetition, intensity, add emotion, add like all those things. And then especially that action step to prove and to keep showing to your mind this new positive belief. And then as that happens, then the negative ones start being rejected out of the subconscious mind. So you're doing great. That's an exciting thing to have. So keep taking awesome action. Okay, Donnell, let's go to you. What clairs do I have? What a great question. Okay, so if for those of you who have not watched my spiritual sense, well, it's Christy and I were both on that one, but we were going through the 10 spiritual senses, which are the clairs. We do teach and have more than I've ever seen other people teach. We have 10 of them. So I'm going to go through all 10 of them. So if there's some that you are not familiar with, know that that's why. It's just from me seeing hundreds, it really probably is like thousands of people now after all this time. I used to do quick reads. I mean, how many quick reads? Like I've just done a lot of them. And I started to see these patterns, and it was like, oh, it's not complete. Like some of these other places online that you can find, it's not complete what they say. So I'm going to go through all 10 of them and see kind of which ones are some of your strengths on the clairs. Also, too, just to kind of like let you know, if you're curious about those spiritual senses, there's a quiz for you that you can take. And then it even leads to that training. All right, so let me look to see. All right, one of the first things I'm seeing are your eyes. So I would say clairvoyant, that's your clear seeing. I am getting, though, that perhaps your eyes, you receive things through your eyes a little bit differently than maybe some other people would. And so it may be creating some thoughts in your head, like maybe I'm not doing it right, or maybe maybe I'm not clairvoyant, or whatever that is, just because it operates a little differently. And I just want to say, like, don't even believe that. Just lean into what you naturally do and keep trusting that ability. I also am kind of seeing that you probably have some kind of what I've called a clear expression. And that is just where things move through you. So at the moment you're expressing. So if you do art, then it's like you just kind of open this gateway and it kind of moves through during art. If you speak, which I do see some of this energy through your mouth, So whether that be through written or through verbal, it almost actually feels more verbal. It feels like as you speak, sometimes you're going to get words coming through your mouth. You're going to be really prone to that, like words and phrases and like incredible advice. And you're going to be like, wow, I just gave like some amazing stuff that's like coming out as I'm talking. Or you're teaching a concept that you're like, I didn't even know I could teach this concept like this, but it happens as you're expressing it, like in the moment. And so I'm seeing that you have some of that, which some of that combo definitely makes me think you've got some spiritual gifts. That could be like almost a gift of revelation or something too. All right, so back to Claire's. And then I'm also seeing some Claire empathy, which is your heart and the emotions and the clear emotions and kind of emoting, feeling the emotions, navigating the world through kind of the emotional journey that you're on, kind of like bumping into things, bumping into people. I would also recommend breathing. It feels like you've got some of that clear empathy, but you got to make sure that you're breathing and not just like only emotions, only emoting. Like make sure it's moving through the rest of your body. Yeah, and then there's more of the clear expression. Yeah, it's going to be really important for you to do some kind of whatever you do for creation, speaking, writing, singing, drawing, whatever it is. Like there's going to be some powerful things that come through you with the creations, especially that clear expression, because I'm just seeing it again. And it's like I just see that energy there. And so I would just tap into it. Whatever you do, just kind of get into the zone. Like maybe you throw on some music where that you can kind of like take your mind out of it and just start creating or expressing yourself. And then as soon as you do that, then you can, like after a while, then you step back and go, whoa, look at what was just created through me, because that was really awesome. So let me know how that matches. Great question. Okay, now I'm going to go back to, there was this one. I told someone I would respond to them, and I'm not finding it at the current moment. So hold on just 1 second. I'm just pulling this up. Feel free to enter in any more of your questions down below. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go to this one. Okay, this is a physical ailment, and it talks about which this amazing person is going to be in the middle of chemotherapy when the show comes on. So, and she's there, and she has fatty bumps under the skin in several areas of her body along the meridian lines. If you're not familiar with meridian lines, they're like little freeways of energy that go through your body. Acupuncture is like stopping those little freeways, and they stop them with the needles and then lift them up and let them go again. So if you don't know what that is, that's what that is. I understand it is generational, and before they were an annoyance, now they have started hurting lately. I feel like something is pushing me to clear and release. Any insight on this would be amazing. All right, so let's look at this. First of all, sending love to you. Lots of, in fact, everyone watching, we can totally just send a little burst of love and prayer energy for you while you're at chemotherapy today. And with the health issues. Okay, so let's look at. Okay, so what I'm kind of seeing with the fatty bumps along the meridian lines, it seems like they're. I do see the generational lines. That is true. It's almost like I see several generations back, like there were some ancestors that just had to work really hard and almost shut off the ability to feel their body. That's really like the message that I'm getting here and kind of seeing is it's like I don't want to feel things. The body hurts sometimes when I go to work. So I'm just going to like not gonna, I'm just going to ignore it. I mean, and that could shut off all different, like just almost a disconnect from your spirit to the body. And even down to things like I could see, oh, we're going to trying to rein in our sexual appetite. And so we're not going to, we're going to like sever from our body so that we don't have the sexuality and stuff. And so it just feels like a lot of different areas, like it just wasn't safe to be in the body because, it was sexual and it might have pain and you might have to push through it. So, and so that just, it was like amplified too, because I'm seeing the generational, but then I'm seeing these traditions and even false teachings, like well-meaning ancestors, like love them, they meant well, and they're like have these beliefs and these teachings though, and then they teach their children, and they teach their children, and then teach their children, and it's still just like a program that was running rampant in the body. So if you think about symbolically with the meridians, that's like your life force. That's like the energetic patterns going through. And it's like, we're going to just stop them. And when they're stopped, let's think about if you've got, an energetic charge going through wiring, and all of a sudden you don't have a wire for it to go to, then this side might just be like going a little bit crazy. And so it just feels like this meridian line, it still had some signal sending. And then because it wasn't releasing, because there was that disconnect, that just started building up these little like pockets of unreleased energetic charges. So with that, there's heaviness in the chest. First of all, I would recommend taking these a few deep breaths. Feels like there's just been a lot of stressful things, which you're in chemo, that would be stressful. Feels like there's a lot of stressful things, especially around the body. So I would recommend really, really doing some breath work every single day, and even doing like a love yourself moment. Maybe it's like 5 minutes of just relaxed breathing, and you just touch your body, touch the different body parts, like everywhere, just everywhere. Love it. Like send so much love, and it's just gratitude, and tell how beautiful and how strong and amazing it is. And then just like give it permission. Even just kind of start rubbing through. Also to the lymphatic system, I would do, you could look up, you can like Google like lymph massages, and there's some like points and stuff that you can do for lymphatic drainage underneath your arms, skin brushing. But I would just touch your body, like get some of this brushing and let things go, and let it know that it's okay to be released and to go out. So anyway, sending love to you on that. All right, let's go to, okay, Monica, let's go to, all right, let's go to, all right, I'm going to answer this one. Okay, I'm not sure what to ask, but I feel stuck, or actually, let me go over here. Oh, I'm so glad to hear. Sorry, I'm reading through the comments here. Okay, let's go through. And okay, so we're gonna answer this one towards bottom. It was preferring to be a little more anonymous, but I'm just gonna ask, or I'm gonna read some here. I'm not sure what to ask, but I feel stuck or blunted, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So let's do. Oh, this is so awesome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad. I love to hear how people just stumble upon us. Like it's happening. Like we're streaming every day. And sometimes I'm amazed. I'm like, we're getting international people like around the world are watching these. So I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, let's look at a general read and see where the blocks are. All right. First and foremost, your heart. Holy moly! I don't know what you've gone through or going through, but it feels like some big things in the heart that were quite painful for you, and that it was It actually feels a bit like there's some grieving or there's some loss uh, due to this emotion stuff, but it feels like just some of this grieving or loss that you've experienced is quite loud. And it just is like this cloud or a fog that's just been around you. It's like, I can't think straight. I can't move. I don't know what to do. I don't even know what to feel because it's just this big cloud of grieving emotion, like a grieving emotion cloud in it. And it just is making it even difficult to like connect to yourself, to know who you are. Um, and I don't know exactly what you've gone through or what you're going through. Um, this kind of trauma is always kind of tricky. And I'm not a certified therapist or anything, so I don't want to, advise any ways that would create harm. But sometimes I do know, like when I see the energetic clouds like this, sometimes it's because it feels so big that it's just floating around and it's not you're not maybe allowing it to be felt. And it could just because it feels too big and too heavy. So, um, I would recommend finding some safe ways that you can go into those emotions and to start at least just acknowledging that they're there. Sometimes when we acknowledge it, then the energy dissipates and it goes away a little bit. Like if it's ignored, then energy just gets louder and louder and louder and louder until we pay attention to it. It's like the little annoying, like a child yelling at you, like mom, 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 mom. And they get louder and louder and louder. Our emotions and our problems and even our bodies, if there's something that's unresolved, it keeps getting louder and louder until it's acknowledged. And yes, dear, let me look at this. Oh, ow, yeah, that does hurt. And then it's like it lifts off. It can help lift off. Even just acknowledging that it's there and to have a lot of grace and compassion for yourself. One time I had a visual, and I feel like this is kind of something for you too, but this visual that I had once, and I was getting really frustrated that I wasn't making progress or seeing results or doing all the things that I wanted to be doing. And the visual that I was shown was that, like, if I was on a battlefield, like here I was on a soldier, but I had just been shot in the leg. And so here I am on the ground and I'm trying to just crawl to get to the line of safety. And then there's other soldiers around me that were not shot in their leg and they were just able to they're beat up. They're still beat up, but they're able to run and they're on their 2 feet. And so they're able to go faster than I was able to at that time because I was dealing with the shot leg. So I feel like there's something for you there, that to have a lot of grace and compassion on yourself, that if you've got this wound that you're working through, it may not be as fast as you like, but just to like at least acknowledge it, love yourself through it, through the journey, there with it. Yeah, lots of grace and compassion and love. Also too, I don't know who you can talk about those things with, but it feels like if you could find a trusted source to talk about things with, that could be helpful, to just have an outlet, be able to work through it. It actually even reminds me of the fact that you might actually be a verbal processor or an external processor, or as you're trying to figure things out in your head, you could get lost. But if you start talking about it and getting it out in the open, it's a bit easier. So I would recommend trying to get that out through a trusted source and see if that helps. So totally, please, please, please let me know how that goes. I'm so grateful you're here and that you found us, and feel free to come back and ask questions anytime. And in fact, I would love to even ask this. This brings me to just another thing, is that this whole, like, the reason why this daily thing is here is like, obviously, like I just want to serve people and help people, and there's a lot of people out there that could use help and use love and use some insight. And so if you wouldn't mind, just like, please share it. Like if you find value in it, please consider paying it forward. Let's help find the people that are looking for it. It's kind of like if we don't, if there's a group you can post to your wall or tag people in it, like let's let people know that we're here and we're here to help and love on people. I'm going to do one more. Rosie, I'm going to pull you up here. And then I'm going to go get my son. Clear any fears. All right, let's see what the fears are. Okay. So interesting enough, that when I look at the fear energy in front of you, I'm seeing actually like little monsters that are like almost showing you their shadow so that they seem really, really big and scary. Like, you should be really afraid of us. Like we're these big, scary fears. But in reality, they're actually kind of little. So that's a good thing. But your system is still seeing the big and scary. So it's like, I can't move because that's so big and scary. So there are a couple different things that can come to my mind on this. Like, and then what I'm seeing, like, okay, with your energy, how can you work through it and get and make it better? Like, one of the first things is, it's kind of funny, but it's like, I'm just seeing, will you grow bigger than the fears? And what I mean by that is, it's like, if you're going up to the edge of a mountain and you're looking up and you're like, oh my goodness, that mountain is so big. Well, what if you grew tall? Or what if you're flying in an airplane and you're looking down, you're like, oh, that little tiny mountain. So it would just be like shifting a perspective of some kind. Like, what kind of perspective shift can you have? What's the worst thing that can happen with some of these fears that you're trying to face? Like, let's look at it. It's kind of like looking at, okay, I'm just going to give an example. Like, if there's a fear about, oh my gosh, I might not have enough money to pay the power bill, and there's not enough money, and it's so scary, and oh no, they're going to turn off my power. This is going to turn off my power. Like, that sounds really, really scary. Oh, my power's going to get shut off. Okay, that's like a big monster. But if you can just like sit for a moment, okay, let me realistically look at this. What would happen if my power got shut off? Okay, well, it would get shut off until I get the money. There would just be a reinstatement fee. But in the meantime, I have flashlights. I have daytime. I could go do this. I have enough for this. Like, you could like kind of figure things out, and you're like, oh, you know what? That's not really that scary. Like, that's something I could live through. And it may not be fun or super comfortable, but you're not going to die. You're going to be okay. And so it just really can kind of put that fear into perspective when you look at it, like in the reality of it. It's like, is it really that bad? And you're like, no, I can get through it. So I feel like there's some things with that you could kind of shift some of that perspective. Also, too, I feel like reminding you to gather the evidence of how strong and vibrant and how powerful that you are. Just a reminder of this, because you can and you are greater than, you have abilities greater than any of these fears that come up. And facing fears can feel a little like butterflies in the stomach. You can feel a little scary. But if you could even just remind yourself of the evidence of how strong you are, and then use that as fuel to take some action steps. Start doing scary things. Maybe don't do the big scary things, but what can you do that gives you a little bit of fear? Be like, oh, that's kind of scary. And then push through it and make a little bit of the choice anyway. If it's something, you can even do symbolic things that kind of scare you. So let's say you've got a big scary thing around you in one area of your life. Well, what if you could go for a hike or go for a walk and like jump off a log or jump across a stream or something that gives you a little bit of a sense of, oh, that was scary and I did it. Okay. Our subconscious brain doesn't know the difference sometimes. So if you can just do something scary and get through it, even if it's in another area that it isn't really like what you're afraid of. But if you can keep telling your subconscious mind, look, I can do scary things and I'm okay and it's good. Now I feel actually more empowered, then that's going to strengthen you in the other things that you're afraid, that you're facing fear in as well. So love to hear how that goes. Right, you guys, I love you so much. I'm so grateful that you're here. Again, thank you. If this meant something to you today, I would love it if you could share. Let's find others and really just get this out to the world. And in the meantime, I will see you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thanks for being here.